know him from the Smiley Morning Show. Now he's got his own show. Radio Theology is on ZPL. Here's Pub Pastor Daron.
Welcome back. It's that time again. Radio Theology live in your eardrums here from the flagship station, WZPL. We are your weekly dose of faith, hope, love, and music. I'm Pastor Daron Earlywine. That right there is Lisa Graff. That right there is Ryan Allworth.
Hello, friends.
Oh, it's so good to be with you guys.
Yeah, good to be with you too, man. How you doing?
I'm wonderful. And, every week, guys, we try to be truthful and honest.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Try to bring people the faith, hope, and love of Jesus.
Preach.
And a big thing that Jesus is big on is honesty, consistency.
Yes.
But we were just talking before we hit the go on air button that we've had some problems.
That's what it's called,
It is.
actually, the
It's
go
the
on air.
Go on air button.
Big exclamation point.
That recently we have all gotten either Facebooked or Instagrammed. Lisa, why don't you define what we mean by getting Facebooked or Instagrammed?
Facebooked or Instagram means that you see the ads, that are now like every third post, and you're like, I need that. They got inside my brain.
Yeah.
They know exactly what I need.
Yeah.
Buy now because it's like $4.99.
Yeah, you're like, usually quality leather boots are about $150.
I know.
These, some crazy sale, I can get these for $35
With free shipping.
Yeah.
Right? Click, buy. They come in the mail 3 or 4, 10 weeks later.
Yeah.
And then
Smelling as if they've been dipped straight in some kind of vat of chemical that will give you some kind of poisoning.
Yes, just don't light them on fire.
No.
Or get anywhere near fire. It's very,
Be careful. They may
it's a dangerous
spontaneously
game.
combust.
Yes, very dangerous.
Yeah, I did that for my wife at Christmas. I was laying there in bed, about to nod off, and here comes the Instagram ad. Those boots are cool. Julie likes boots. Buy the boots. They show up 5 or 6 weeks after Christmas.
Yeah.
Straight
Kind
from
of
China.
like in a nondescript bag.
Yeah, they
Like,
weren't
what
even.
is this?
They were literally in a bag.
Ooh.
They weren't
Yeah.
even in a box.
Yep.
They looked great.
Just a Target shopping bag
Yes.
with your name on it, misspelled.
Yeah.
Somehow it got to your house.
They're an early buying. Well, who's this guy?
Oh, these are my boots.
Yeah. Julie wore them for a couple times the first week, and then I get a text. She says, "You know what happens when you buy boots on Instagram?" I was like, "No, what?" She's like, "The bottom falls off." Radio
After 3
Theology,
weeks.
your weekly dose of faith, hope, love, and music. Have you gotten Instagram lately? Bought something that you thought, great deal.
Yeah.
Shows up, piece of garbage.
Yes, my recent one, and this is just stupidity on my part, but there are these head wrap towels. They're microfiber towels that you wrap your wet hair in after your shower, and then they button so it stays up there.
Like a turban.
Like a turban type, but it's microfiber. It's moisture wicking. So when it's on, it dries your hair.
And curls it.
So the model, right? She's got it on, and then she takes it off, and she's flowing
Of course
her
she
hair.
does.
And I'm like, that's what I need.
Yeah.
That is what I need, because
That's
drying my hair
it.
takes forever. It's just a whole extra commitment that I don't know if I
Yeah.
want anymore. So I'm like, I'm going to buy these 3 for $7.99.
They're
Wow.
giving them away.
Life
deal.
changed.
But wait, there's more.
If you buy double, they still don't work.
Yeah.
Right? So they don't work. They don't. How is it going to dry your? It doesn't even dry your hair, let alone curl it.
I didn't look up this ad, but I know that it's out there.
Yes.
Okay. And now that I'm saying it, I'm sure my phone is going to pop up with ads for this
Oh,
thing.
for
Absolutely.
sure it will.
But there's sort of the same kind of concept for how do I say this? Your boobs. Have you seen that? It's like a boob harness thing.
That's just
that
like sticks on the window.
yeah,
Yeah,
and I
you
don't know
just
why.
Lock and load, lift.
It's like it's like a towel bra.
Oh no, I've not seen that.
You haven't seen that?
No, I thought you were talking about.
Maybe we're
never
talking
mind.
about the
There's
different
plenty
thing.
of boob
you're
ones
talking
out
about
there.
the towel that you can get, but it just
I
goes on you and you just wear the towel.
I guess it like wicks away boob sweat, which I didn't even know was
Oh.
a thing. I don't know.
Pass.
I'm very confused.
Right.
I have seen the little thing, the little sticky tacky boob
that
thing.
stick on the window,
wall.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that for?
To lift so you can wear backless, strapless, right? You just
Oh,
lock
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
load those
Okay.
girls. They ain't moving. Because
Okay.
if it won't come off the window, it ain't coming off your boob.
Okay.
I'm not sure where to go from here. I did think this, though. If you think we're upset about getting Instagram, imagine how, I'm glad I'm not in this phase of life, but imagine how bummed you are if you get tendered. Where's your hair? How much would we have to pay you to go back and do 7th grade again?
Oof.
Hefty sum.
A lot of cash.
Radio Theology, your weekly dose of faith, hope, love, and music. Pastor Daron Earlywine here with Ryan and Lisa. And guys, I have a 7th grader, one of my middle son, Ty. And I tell you what, 7th grade is a tough time. So I thought, you know what? He needs mentors.
Yeah.
So I reached out to 12 guys and said, listen, would you spend an hour with my son and I'll give you a month. And I want you to spend an hour, talk to him about life, about goals, about God, about all the stuff.
Yeah.
Because this is going to be a tough year, 7th grade.
It's hard.
Ryan, you went out with him this week.
I did. We had a great time at Qdoba.
And it reminded you of how awkward 7th graders are.
It is so awkward. Yeah, your son's a great guy. Ty, what's up, man? Know you're listening. We talked about a lot of things. I'm not going to share everything that we talked about because it was table talk. And I told him, I said, I know we're boys with your dad, but what you says stays here.
We're the trust tree.
Right.
Yep.
But it reminded me several times of just the awkwardness of adolescence in 7th grade. Just stories he was sharing with me about like what he does at school or like just things his friends will say or do where I'm just like, man, it's really hard to look back. I realized how old I am. It's been 27 years since I was in 7th grade.
I bet you this, though. Can you remember the outfit you wore on the first day of 7th grade to try to be cool?
100%. Yep, I got it right here. So I had jorts that were semi-rolled up.
Okay, yep.
I had like calf socks, like high ankle socks, Nike, with Nike sandals, like old man black sandals that were suddenly in during like 90s.
Ones with little spikes on the bottom kind of things?
Yeah, kind of like that.
Okay.
Sort of. I had a shirt that I was a big Florida State Seminole fan back in the day.
Right.
And it was like the Looney Tunes shirt. Then on the front, it was like Bugs and Daffy wearing the Seminoles outfit. And on the back, it was their back with the numbers of my favorite players. I'm like, man, I'm crushing day one.
Literally see that shirt. Radio Theology, weekly dose of faith, hope, love, and music. Talking about the awkwardness of 7th grade. I do remember my first day of 7th grade, Guess jeans were cool back then. And I had these Guess jeans overalls, but they were shorts. And that was when you took one strap down on the overall.
Oh, yeah.
And I had this creamish white hoodie shirt underneath it.
Okay.
I felt so cool because we had no money. My dad was a pastor at a small church, and we had no money.
Okay.
And so I had one cool outfit. Like, that was it.
Yeah.
So Monday of 7th grade, I was killing it. Unfortunately, Tuesday had to come the next day.
Whoopsies.
Didn't have a Guess wardrobe.
Yeah.
Lisa, what about you?
Oh my gosh. I don't remember the first day, but I remember my most common outfit was also overalls.
Okay.
Because we also didn't have a ton of money. And I was too afraid to ask my mom for the wide leg jeans that were coming out, the new like bell bottom style.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I thought
Boot cut.
The gappiest pants that I have are overalls.
The gappiest.
So instead of putting a shirt under, I put all my shirts over so it would look like I had like the wide leg pants.
So
everybody probably
you
knew.
hid overalls multiple days. of
Multiple
7th grade.
days in a row. Yeah, because I'm like, this is my only shot. Right. I have no other shots.
Because
That's funny.
if the opinions of other 7th graders are not favorable of you, literally the world stops spinning.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
It is. It's true, man.
We're making light of it, but if you're listening right now, you remember 7th grade and how real it felt that if people don't like me,
oh yeah,
it's over.
It's over. Yeah.
And then they'd like you or not like you for the stupidest reasons.
Dumbest reasons.
Like how you wear your hair. Like I had a butt cut because I thought I was into this girl who liked guys who like listened to Nirvana and like looked like they came out of the Smells Like Teen Spirit music video. Yeah. So I was like, to get her,
boom,
haircut, boom. My dad called me a water buffalo. He's like, you look like an absolute idiot.
Here's my thought, though. Here's on the serious tip. I think it's in 7th grade that we start believing one of the most just devious and maybe harmful lies we believe about ourselves, maybe for the rest of our life. I'll tell you what the lie is next, right here on Radio Theology. What lie have you been believing about yourself since probably the first day of 7th grade? About to tell you.
That's deep.
It is deep.
Yeah.
It's deep-seated. Radio Theology, a weekly dose of faith, hope, love, and music. Pastor Daron here with Ryan and Lisa. Guys, we were just talking about, I got a 7th grader. First day of 7th grade, we all remember it.
Yep.
You have these snapshots of 7th grade, which are basically these anxiety-filled, like, am I cool enough? Can I fit in? Is life going to work for me moments?
Right.
Wow.
Yes.
You're not really, most of the time, you're not totally into puberty, but sort of.
Yeah.
Just enough to where, like, I kind of have leg hair, but I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm getting kind of a terrible peach fuzz, weird stash.
Yeah, I would think I was like starting to grow leg hair too, and like, can I shave it? Can I not? Like, am I old enough to do that?
Yeah.
Can I put on a little makeup? You know, all of those. Oh my gosh.
How was the mustache thing for you? Did you have that as well?
I think I cleared that. I think I cleared that.
You start to stink too, as a boy at least. You know what I mean? Like you'd start sweating to where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
You smell like burnt onions. What is happening?
I remember my dad always called me ripe. He's like, you're
Yeah.
ripe, dude. Go take a shower.
Yes.
Oh.
So all of this
Don't
is
stay
happening.
in there for 30 minutes.
Hello, that too. So you've got all these things changing in your body, in your life, and what is all over the place is people's opinions about you.
Oh, yeah.
And I believe we begin to believe one of the biggest core lies that I think throws our life into a tailspin from that day to today.
Yes.
And it's this: I am what other people think of me.
Yeah.
That lie drives so much dysfunctional behavior, starting, I think, somewhere around 7th grade.
Yeah.
Where my worth and how I feel about myself, maybe even my value to the world, is completely dependent on what other people think about me. Radio Theology, a weekly dose of faith, hope, love, and music. Pastor here with Ryan and Lisa. And guys, I mean, is this hitting with you guys? I know that I feel this.
Yes, I can bring you to 7th grade, and I can bring you to last weekend. So 7th grade, I went on a ski trip with the church, and then on the back it said something about, the T-shirt said something about Jesus or whatever. I'm not ashamed of the gospel, I think it was what it was.
Okay.
Well, I wear it to school because I'm not ashamed of the gospel.
Right.
But then when I get called up to do the math problem on the board, I'm like freaking out. Everyone's looking at me going, not ashamed of the gospel. What in the world? So I was ashamed of the gospel, or at least the T-shirt.
Right. So now you have all the guilt of like, I'm sorry, Jesus, you died for me. I can't wear a shirt.
Exactly.
So what happened this weekend?
So then this past weekend, we got invited to this party, and we're like kind of getting to know the friends, and so it was like this whole thing, and it's like these people are like the who's who of the most beautiful people on the planet, and it's so intimidating because like I sometimes think I'm pretty, but I don't like look at myself going, yes. And I assume that they look in the mirror every day going, look at me.
You're welcome
go.
to look at me. Thank
Hello
you.
world, I'm here now and I will be here forever. Right. And I'm like, So I had 14 outfits picked out. I went through the whole thing because I'm going, you can do this because you can do this because you're going to the party because you're excited to dance and you want to be friends and this is cool. But I was so wrapped around the axle about what to wear.
People think about you.
Yeah.
Yes, I get one chance to get this first impression. I walk into this party and that's it. Then I decided, you know what? That's kind of stupid. I'm going to show up as myself. I'm going to look the best that I can. Sure, why not? But I'm going to show up as myself. And I had the time of my life. I was on the dance floor for so many hours, and I didn't care what anybody thought about me on the dance floor.
There is freedom in realizing that your worth is so much bigger than what other people think about you.
Yes.
So I'm gonna give you a spiritual segue and a little bit of the Jesus juke
That's what we need.
on the deep end of the pool. All the metaphors. Coming up next on Radio Theology. How can Jesus help your 7th grade anxiety?
Woo!
If you still have it. It started with acne. It's still here. Radio Theology, a weekly dose of faith, hope, love, and music. Pastor Daron here with Ryan and Lisa, talking about this morning that we started believing a lie, probably right around 7th grade, that can absolutely just throw our life into a tailspin. And the lie is this, that I am what others think of me.
Yeah.
Meaning my core sense of identity is based on what other people think or say about me. And when that happens, it can send us into a real tailspin where our life becomes a codependent relationship on the emotions and opinions of other people. So we run around trying to fix everything, make everything okay, and we're never really true to who we are.
Yeah.
So the point I want to give you this morning is for one, that is a lie. You are not what others think of you. People have their opinions of you, no problem. It has nothing to do with your core identity. We say here on the show every single week that we believe you are made on purpose and for a purpose by a God who loves you, that knows you by name, that has a purpose for your life. And he says that you are his dearly loved child. A number one identity, you are his child. But if you're not careful, chasing down the opinions of other people will ruin everything in your life.
Exhausting.
It is exhausting.
It's exhausting. Because then you can become like, I think I read a study once that you are really 30 different people because you're just the versions of yourself for each person that you're around. And so if you're trying to fit into these tiny molds that you've created for yourself based on someone else's opinion of you, that's tiring.
Yeah.
That's tiring.
It does make sense.
How do we stop?
Well, I mean, you've got to get down to understand, for one, who God says you are. And there's scriptures all over the place in the Bible that let you know that. But I think it comes down to when you begin to know who God's created you to be and what your worth in his eyes, you start from a different place. Instead of starting from I am who I am because of something coming from the outside in. You live your life from the inside out. And it's not based on opinions. It's not based on emotions. It's based on fact. Radio Theology, a weekly dose of faith, hope, love, and music. Pastor here with Ryan and Lisa. All right, let's go to the phones. We got a call. It looks like from a 7-year-old, not usually our target demographic. But, Alex, you're welcome to Radio Theology.
Yeah. Hey guys, how you doing?
Is this Alex's dad?
No, this is Alex.
Well, Alex, you said you're a 7-year-old.
Yeah, I was born on leap year, and
Oh.
I don't mean to laugh.
technically I'm 7. I mean, leap year's coming up this weekend. It's gonna be
Yeah.
a lot of fun to celebrate. But I just called in for some advice.
Okay, how can we help you?
There's just a lot of shame in being 7 years old in a 28-year-old man's body.
I understand.
Uh-huh.
And we were talking about being caught up in what other people think of you. I'm sure that's difficult for people to see you as a 7-year-old.
Oh yeah, especially when all my friends buy me pull-ups for my birthday.
I'm sorry, Alex.
I get the joke. It's ha ha.
Yeah, I don't mean to laugh at you. I'm sorry, Alex.
No, it's cool. I've never been able to go into a liquor store and buy beer. They turn me away every time. I have to get a friend to buy it for me.
Oh, no.
I'm a grown man. I shave.
But because of leap year, you've only had 7 birthdays.
Technically, yeah. Kind of annoying. The sadder part is that, like a golden retriever, I probably won't even live past 20.
Oh my gosh,
gosh.
Alex! Listen, can we pray for you, or how can we help you?
Yeah, prayers would be appreciated, guys. That'd be great. I love the show, but I just had to call in. Yeah, love the show. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Well, appreciate it, Alex, and we celebrate you. I mean, congratulations on turning 8 next year.
Not year. In 4 years.
Stings every time you say it. I'm only 7 years old.
Hey, ladies, welcome back to Radio Theology. Dudes, you can stay here as well. But it is time for our segment we'd like to call Lisa's Pieces.
Pieces. Okay, things are off the rails at my house. The other night, I picked up the kids, and we're having good conversations on the way home. And then before we even get in the driveway, my girl child, 5, loses her mind. Pull into the driveway, and she gets out of her seat. She's kicking, flailing everywhere. Like, literally, she's lost her ever-loving mind.
All right.
It's gone. I don't know where it's at.
Not here.
Not here. It's not here. And so then she's kicking Calvin, who's strapped in his car seat. He's 2.5. He can't get out. And he's mad, obviously.
Right.
So I run around to his rescue.
Yeah.
Well, then he starts screaming, I don't want to get out of my car seat. I'm like, I'm trying to save you.
Yeah.
Like, you're getting kicked. So we go inside, and then Josie comes in after us, and she's, again, just has lost her mind.
Okay.
And so finally I'm like, up to your room. Bye.
Yes.
Maybe forever.
Yeah, you have a one-way ticket to your room for a while.
You might not. I don't even care if you get dinner. I don't even want to see you the rest of the night. Like, so then I'm like, let's eat dinner. Let's eat dinner, okay? And he's like, yeah, dinner. He's like, I want a waffle. So he goes and grabs a waffle out of the freezer. And I'm like, no, buddy, you're not going to have a waffle because I made this delicious chicken pot pie in the crock pot.
Yeah, well, that's good. Sounds good.
Sounds good. Look disgusting.
Okay.
There's your first clue.
Okay.
Like dairy-free, crust-free chicken pot pie in the
Ooh,
crock pot.
wait a second. You just pulled a fast one on me there.
Disgusting.
When you said chicken pot pie, I got excited thinking about chicken pot pie.
I know.
Then you described something that sounded like pig slop.
It looks like pig slop.
That you're supposed to say is healthy.
Yes, and I'm like, oh, look, kids. I'm like, I'm not going to eat that. I'm not going to force feed you.
Radio Theology, your weekly dose of faith, hope, love, and music. Lisa was involved in a full monsoon poop storm of motherhood.
Yep.
All right, continue.
Yep. So he starts losing his mind about the waffle. He just needs the waffle. He's flailing on the floor. Finally, I'm done with it. I'm done with everything. So I sit on the floor and I start weeping. I was like, I am just done. Like, the chicken pot pie is ew. Like, who fails at crock pots? Like, right, I'm telling myself all of these horrible, horrible things. And I am just living these lies of, your kids are the worst because you're the worst. Like, look at their behavior. What does that say about you? And all this stuff. So I'm on the floor just weeping. Cal's still losing his mind. And I text my husband, Ryan, and I said, listen, I need you home now. This is a 5-alarm fire, whatever.
Yeah.
Come home. He was luckily 2 minutes away. And he came home and he said, what's going on here? And I'm like, I can't do it anymore because of the chicken pot pie. And he wants a waffle and Josie's in a room with Jula. Everybody hates me and I hate myself. And he's like, how about you go? Why don't you just take a drive? I got this. Whoa. And
Yes.
so I did.
Euro.
hero. And so I went and I sat and got myself together. And what happened was I was feeling all of this self-pity. I was just letting it all. I was drinking in the self-pity because it feels good to feel bad.
Oh, yeah.
And then I had to replace it with self-compassion. And so I remembered that I had written a self-compassion letter a few weeks ago. And I sat there in a bar and I read this self-compassion letter and I'm weeping because I had to start talking nice to myself. And I had to have that voice come in like, what would your most compassionate friend say to you? That's what I needed to hear.
Wow.
And so that changed everything for me. But man, the quicker you can get from self-pity to self-compassion, that'll make all the difference.
I love it. I love it. Listen, if that's hitting home with you right now, I want you to head over to IamMotherOfTheYear.com, Lisa's blog, where she's got a group of thousands and thousands of moms that are encouraging each other when they're on this same type of journey. And so if you're stuck in self-pity and you need to move towards self-compassion, head over to IamMotherOfTheYear.com right now. It's that time again. Sit back and relax and get ready to say, Lord, have mercy. We found 3 stories that deserve only 3 words, and that's them. Let's jump in. Lisa, what do you got?
We're going over to China where a restaurant owner couldn't figure out who was stealing supplies from his restaurant.
I can't do that.
Yep. And so he installed a surveillance camera and caught his restaurant manager sneaking food after hours.
Boy.
In the nude. Naked.
Wow.
Not just stealing the food, eating it, but eating it naked.
Ryan, why do so many stories have to have the person's doing this and then they're naked? Why?
Wait, this isn't Florida. This is China?
This is China. And this is not like a one time I got super drunk and no, like it's a repetitive thing.
Completely sober,
Where
it sounds like.
No,
too.
I think it means he's getting drunk every night.
Every night he has to get naked and cannot help himself.
He gets drunk and then disrobes?
No,
Or does
nobody
he-
knows about
he
the drunkenness.
disrobes and then he gets drunk.
I like to think that he just gets naked for no reason at all, just to eat the food. I don't know.
I kind of like the thought that he's like, I'm going to strip down and get drunk, as opposed to, why are all my clothes off? I'm hammered.
Regardless, kids, don't do drugs.
Don't do them.
And for him and his nudity, we
gosh.
say,
Lord have mercy.
This next one I don't like for 2 reasons. A, it's coming from Duke University, and a Tar Heel fan I am, so Duke, puke, I hate them. And this stat is absolutely ridiculous. It's dumb. It's bogus.
Okay.
Here's the stat. Evidently, it costs an additional $30,000 a year to be 5'9".
Okay, say more about that. And
Okay.
also, how tall are you?
I'm 5'9".
Oh, okay, got it.
Moving on.
Okay.
Evidently, they did a study on dating apps, and you can make $30,000 less if you're at least 5'10".
1 inch
Wow.
equals $30,000?
1 inch equals $30,000.
Ah,
So if I am on, Tinder, which I'm not, I'm happily married.
yeah.
I'm just saying, if I were to try to get back in the game,
Sure.
I would need to make $30,000 more than a guy who's 5'10" just because I'm 5'9".
Wow.
This
I
is
don't.
garbage.
I think it's garbage.
This is dumb.
Because what about those sexy 6-footers? They don't have to make anything.
Probably not. They're probably getting paid for dates.
I'm just thinking, like, even if you were like a drop dead little person, you'd have to be a billionaire, basically,
true.
Yeah.
at this scale.
I wonder if it goes up at $30,000 per inch. If you're 5'5", you better be rolling, bro.
Rolling.
This is garbage. Duke's terrible. This study's terrible. I'm glad I'm married.
That's such a Duke study to do.
It
too.
is. And to that I say,
Lord have mercy.
What do you got, Ryan?
Going across the pond to the UK, you guys, a bride's dream day quickly turned into a nightmare when she was dumped by her new husband hours after they said their vows.
What
Like
brought that on?
at the reception?
Here's why. Her new sister-in-law, her husband's sister,
Sure.
shows up to the party, hammered drunk,
Oh, boy.
throws up on the gift table,
No.
That'll do it.
tries to steal money that was for the bride and groom,
Keep it coming.
and as if it couldn't get any worse, she proposes to her own boyfriend, who says no.
This lady's having a bad day.
So the bride punches her new sister-in-law in the face.
I'm saying
Yep.
that's justice.
Totally.
Right.
Absolutely.
Not the best man. She did the best man's job for him.
That's true.
Yeah.
Punched her new sister-in-law in the face. Her husband then says, you can't punch my sister.
No matter what she does.
Sides with his sister instead of his new
No.
bride.
They were doomed to
Divorces.
fail then.
Right on the spot, he's like, it's off, we're done. And now she's looking for advice how to win her husband back. And people are taking to the post and be like, just cut your losses.
Yeah, move on.
Move on.
You may have dodged a real bullet. here.
Right. So for her, the nameless bride in the UK, we say,
say,
Lord have mercy.
Radio Theology back with you, reminded you of three things. God's for you, not against you. He's near you, not far from you. And he has created you on purpose and for a purpose. Pastor Daron here with Ryan and Lisa. And guys, we say that each and every week. We love talking to you. We love hanging out with you in your car, maybe on your Alexa. I don't know what you're listening. We're just glad you're listening this morning. And we love to hear from feedback from you of the way that maybe God's encouraging you, positive things going on in your life. And we heard from listener Manda this past week, and we want to share a little listener mail with you. Lisa, what do you got?
Yeah, she said she works overnight, so listening to Radio Theology is really her return trip home.
Good morning then, Manda.
Good morning, good night, whatever it
is for you.
Yeah, but she says she listens to us all the time, loves us, and we love you. But she said we were created by God on purpose and for a purpose. That phrase she repeats to herself 1,000,000 times a day. And also is able to repeat that and remind her teenagers of that very thing. I'm like,
that's huge.
Huge. That's so impactful.
Yeah, we love it. We'd love to hear from you. You can jump on radiotheology.com this morning. Leave us a comment on the page there. We'd share it here on air, and we'd just love to know what's going on. Because each and every week we actually do pray for the people that reach out to us. If you have some prayer requests or something else going on. And we got another listener that reached out to us too, Lisa.
Yeah, my new friend Ashley, she reached out and said she bought our Spiritual DNA online course.
Yeah, spiritualdna.me.
And because she said she's a stay-at-home mom, and that's a new adjustment for her. She's got 2 teenagers, and she's like, my husband and kids, they say they appreciate me. I'm sure they do, but I just feel like a lack of purpose. And so when I hear you talking about purpose, I realize I don't know mine.
Ooh.
And I think I have more to do, more to share. And then she's also working through some painful parts of her story that she's like, I think I need to start telling my story to bring healing to other women.
Yeah.
So she's working through all of this stuff, and it's just so incredible to be in touch with her. But we're emailing back and forth like a few times a week now, and it's just fun to hear from her. But then also to hear that we're making a difference, because we really, really do believe that you're created on purpose and for a purpose.
Yeah, it's Radio Theology here, your weekly dose of faith, hope, love, and music. And Spiritual DNA, we don't talk about it all the time on the show, but it is an online course that I've created. You can go check it out at spiritualdna.me. It will take you through 5 assessments that really do help you understand how uniquely God has put you together and how you can leverage that personally and professionally. We've taken thousands of people through the course. Ryan, you and I said, it's probably been like 7 years ago. We sat down and walked through about a 6-week process, eating great Ethiopian food.
Oh, up there at St. Yards off Fall Creek.
So
tasty. Yeah, we did like Spiritual DNA over like 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was great. And
the thing about it is, for all of us, is we look back and say, this is a moment that changed our life.
Yeah.
To start to actually bring our life out of sometimes I feel like our life feels like a shotgun approach. Mm-hmm. We just aim at something and we'll see what happens. And when you really begin to discover how God has created you uniquely and what that purpose is, it allows you to kind of narrow down to have more of a rifle shot. Like, I don't know all the adventures that are going to come. I don't know everything that's going to happen in the future, but I know that this is the direction I'm to go, and I'm created uniquely to succeed in this way. If that's something you need this morning, head over to spiritualdna.me. You can get the online course over there right now. And we want to say just a big shout out to Manda and Ashley. Thanks for listening, ladies. We believe in you. We love you. And we do believe that you've been created on purpose and for a purpose. Does going to church seem super scary to you? Well, we've got a solution right here on Radio Theology, your weekly dose of faith, hope, love, and music. This is Pastor Daron Earlywine. Over there's Lisa. Over there's Ryan. And guys, we had a listener reach out to us a couple weeks ago, and he was like, hey, love the show. Stuff going on in my life. I think maybe I need to try God. Mm-hmm. I need to, that's a solution I haven't given a shot yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Haven't been to church ever in my adult life, but church seems scary.
Yeah.
I don't know where to start. I don't know anybody. I don't want to go by myself. I don't want to go to a wacky church.
Right.
And that's a very, very real emotion.
Yes.
It doesn't take long to go to church and realize, I bet there's some stuff that could be seen really weird here and be a really intimidating thing to walk into.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my goodness. Yes.
That's why we create, if maybe you need a starter, a next step. You say, maybe I'm not ready to go to church yet.
Sure.
It's a little too freaky. But I know that maybe I need a little more God in my life. That's why we create the Behind the Mic podcast. We do it every week. Put the show out on Sundays. Then on Mondays, we release on our podcast channel a highlight of the show. Maybe you've missed some of the segments. You're just in your car real briefly. You can listen to that on Monday. Then on Wednesday, we release the Behind the Mic episode. And basically what we do is we take the stuff we talked about in the show and just go a little bit deeper into it as far as the spiritual content. And it could be something where if you've got some questions, maybe you're curious about spiritual things, this could be a great place to start. You could listen to it while you're on the treadmill, or you're running, or you're working out, or you're mowing your lawn, or you're sitting drinking coffee by yourself. You don't have to worry about feeling weird about going to church, but it could be maybe a next step for you.
Yeah, I love it because I'm partial, obviously, but I think it's I just love the conversations that we get to have.
Yeah.
Because they're very real and meaningful. And I think if I'm going to brag on us, I think we do a really good job of talking normally about what's really going on. We don't pretend to have all the answers. We question more than we proclaim probably sometimes, and I think that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, Radio Theology, your weekly dose of faith, hope, love, and music. Ryan, for you, I mean, do you feel like that sometimes it's tough to go to church if you have questions because it's not a conversation, it's just a guy's just talking at you?
I think it's more difficult for me personally to find the freshness after being a believer my entire life.
Okay.
Oh.
That's a little bit harder for me sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seeing that this is still brand new and fresh and exciting, and it's for me, as opposed to, it's kind of like, okay, I've heard the story, know how it ends.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Right.
Yeah.
He wins.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it's less the former and more the latter for me, more often than not.
So wherever you fit in that continuum, if you're looking for a place to hear three people trying to figure this out, just have real authentic conversations that might help you take some next steps in your spiritual walk. If that's something you're interested in, go download the Radio Theology podcast. Like I said, Wednesdays, we release the Behind the Mic episode. I think you'd love it. We put it together with you in mind, and you can get it wherever you get your podcasts. Go check it out right now. Go search for the Radio Theology podcast. We'll be right back. Radio Theology. Let me give you a truth this morning, friends, right here on Radio Theology. It's Pastor Daron, and here's the truth. Love covers a multitude of sins.
Yes.
That's in the Bible.
Uh-huh.
And you probably need it for your marriage / dating life / friendship / life is relationships. Everything else is just the details. And here's what I've been noticing is marriage is hard.
Yeah.
Long-term friendships also difficult.
Yeah.
Like I've been noticing it's difficult to have a friend for like 20 years. Mm-hmm. Like relationships are just hard. And I think all of us, can we all agree around our kumbaya fire this morning that we all want good relationships?
Sure.
Yes.
I mean, when relationships are out of whack, your life is not functioning well.
Right.
Here's what I think is interesting is literally if you see someone you love doing the smallest act of purposeful like servanthood or
Yes.
love to you, it covers a multitude of sins.
It basically takes the eraser
Yeah.
onto the dry erase board, and it's like, now we're even
Gone.
again, even though you're not supposed to keep score, but sometimes you do.
Sometimes you do. Even for me, I'm embracing a good season of marriage right now.
Great.
Last year, growing pains, really not growing pains. We've been married for 18 years.
It's a great show.
It was a great show.
Show me that smile.
Oh, how good were old TV theme songs?
Alan Thicke wrote that theme song.
No way.
way.
Don't waste another minute on your crying. So good.
Great,
good.
great musical random facts brought
He's
to you by
dead,
the
right?
one only Ryan.
No, Alan Thicke. Is
What?
Alan Thicke dead?
Oh,
Check it out.
no.
You're thinking of Alan Rickman, maybe?
No.
He's dead.
He's dead.
Who's that?
I don't know.
Alan Rickman was Professor Snape on. He was
No,
also the
he's
sheriff
not
of
dead.
Nottingham in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, starring Kevin Costner.
Thank you, guys.
Yes,
Follow
Alan
the
Thicke is
bouncing-
dead as of December of 2016.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Thank you for the amazing theme song, Dr. Seaver.
Radio Theology, try to follow the bouncing ball. What I'm saying is, whether you're listening to growing pains or having them in your marriage or your friendships,
Yeah, yeah.
Is-
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's what we were talking
Yes.
about. Sorry.
is I'm noticing just little small things that my wife is doing that I can tell she did that on purpose. She's trying.
Yes.
It inspires me to try.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's like, wait a second, we're okay. This is positive. And so if you're listening this morning, maybe you're in a big fight with your husband or your wife or a friend or a roommate. And you're like, this is too hard. Oh, what should I do? Just do one little small thing to communicate love to them. And it's amazing how much love does cover a multitude of sins.
Yes, the other day I was losing my mind because my kids were losing their minds and everything was falling apart in my home. All three of us that were there were crying. So I text my husband, "Come now. This is I can't. I'm done." And as soon as he walked in the door, he's like, "I've got this. You can go." And I'm like, "No, but it's dinner and then it's bedtime and I've got this. You can go."
One little night.
Yeah, just go. Just go. And I got in the car and I left, and it was amazing. I calmed myself down, took 3 hours, but I did return. And then he had made the coffee for the morning and packed the kids' lunches.
Boom.
And I was like,
Wow.
What are you doing right now? It was amazing. It felt so good to be like loved and seen for the things that I normally do.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I can do this. You can't stop crying. Cool. You go. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go above and beyond.
How many husband points will that last him?
I'm still riding the wave hard. It's good. It's good.
So,
Good long time.
If you're looking to win this week in a relationship that matters to you, it could be coffee, it could be making lunches.
Yep.
It could be the smallest thing possible. Just find some basic way to love someone who loves you well. It'd be amazing how many sins love covers up.
It's the thought of the day with Pastor Daron.
I've got a question for you. How much would I have to pay you to relive the first day of 7th grade? Okay. I know that's probably a big number. There are tons of zeros because was there any worse day than the first day of 7th grade? Here's another question. How much would I actually have to pay you to relive all of 7th grade? Now we're talking about probably a 9 to 10 digit number to relive all of 7th grade. Thinking about it right now, I'm sure you're starting to sweat a little bit, thinking of the anxiety of how awkward 7th grade was. And I've got a 7th grader at home, and I'm watching him live this year, and it reminds me that 7th grade might be the most uncertain and awkward year of life. You're starting puberty, sort of, like your voice is changing, sort of, just enough to make you sound like you maybe like swallowing a dying mouse from time to time. It's, oh my gosh, right? And I think it's in the 7th grade year of life that one of the most core soul lies begins to take root within us. Here's the lie. It's this: I am what others think of me. And it doesn't matter if you were like the cool kid or an absolute total dork. The lie, it still screams in your ears. You are only what people think of you. Now, here's the good news this morning, is that was and will always be a lie. You are worth so much more than what people think of you. We say it every week here on Radio Theology. You are made on purpose and for purpose. You were created to create. You were designed to design. You were created to actually be an intimate ally, partnering with the Almighty God to create the future that's currently on His mind and on His heart. Do you realize how unbelievably valuable that makes you? But that doesn't mean that you are immune to your emotions about other people's opinions of you. The great question then becomes, who are you going to believe? The other pimple-faced, prepubescent 7th graders or the almighty loving God who created you on purpose and for purpose? Listen, friend, if you're ever going to become who you were born to be, you have to choose to believe God all day and every day. Now, thank God you're probably not in 7th grade anymore. So it's time to stop letting other people's opinions control you or your optimism about your future. You are not what people think of you. You are who God says you are. And if you need a jump start to discover who He says you are, go right now to IamBornToBe.com and I will send you the 5-day free Jump Start to Purpose. It'll be an email with an audio devotional you'll listen to every day this week that will remind you who you are. Go right now to IamBornToBe.com and I'll send you the free 5-day Jump Start to Purpose. This is Pastor Daron Earlywine, and that's been your Radio Theology Thought of the Day.